Let's talk about your mind, but not in some abstract philosophical way. Today, we're going to look at it through a completely different lens. We're going to treat it like a computer. And I'm not just talking about a metaphor. We're going to give you the actual user's guide to help you run your own system at peak performance.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like your mind is just chugging along? You know, like it's running on an old, slow operating system, bogged down with way too many apps open at once. It's that feeling of mental heaviness that makes even the simplest things feel like a huge effort.
But here's a wild thought. What if you're not actually broken? What if the real problem is that nobody ever handed you the user's manual for this incredibly powerful machine that you've got in your head? Well, consider this explainer to be that manual. We're going to map out your mind just like a computer system, and I promise, by the end of this, it's all going to click into place.
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to look at your personal computer's basic specs. Then, we'll dive into the daily maintenance you need to keep it running smoothly. After that, we're going to connect to the Cosmic server. And yes, you heard me right. And finally, we'll learn how to upgrade your entire system to what we call awakening mode.
All right, let's jump into section 1. Before you can optimize anything, you've got to know what you're working with, right? So let's pop the hood on your personal mind computer and take a look at the core system specs.
First up, your operating system, or OS. Now, think of this as the fundamental software that runs your entire life. The thing is, many of us are unknowingly running on a really clunky, outdated legacy OS that's just filled with old beliefs and conditioning. Our goal is to upgrade to the Divine Truth OS, a system that's based on who you really are.
Of course, even the greatest software in the world is totally useless on faulty hardware. Your hardware? That's your physical body. If you neglect its basic maintenance, sleep, good food, a little exercise, it honestly doesn't matter how amazing your OS is. Your system simply won't have the power to boot up correctly.
So who's in charge of this whole operation? That would be the administrator. And the administrator is your true self. You have full admin privileges. You're not just some guest user with limited access. You literally have the authority to install new programs, delete old files, and completely rewrite the code of your life. That person with all the power, that's you.
And get this, you're not working offline. You have access to a massive cloud server. You can call it the higher realms. It's like an infinite database of wisdom, creativity, and love that you can tap into anytime you want, just as long as your mental Wi-Fi signal is strong enough.
Okay, moving on to section 2. Knowing your specs is one thing, but keeping that system in top shape, that takes a little daily maintenance. So let's go over the essential commands you need to run every day to keep your Mind PC from crashing.
This is so cool. Check this out. It basically translates these ancient, powerful practices into modern IT commands that we all understand. To defragment all your scattered thoughts, you run a reflection command. To refresh your focus and just clear out the mental clutter, you use prayer. Seriously, think of it like hitting F5 for your soul. And to boost that Wi-Fi signal to the Cosmic server, that's meditation.
We also have to talk about system security. Your mind can get infected with viruses. And in our analogy, these viruses are things like karma or negative patterns, anger, jealousy, resentment. They are literally malicious programs running in the background, corrupting your data, and causing all the system errors we experience as problems in life.
Another classic issue, the memory full error. This is just a perfect description of overthinking. When you use up all your mental RAM, all your processing power on analyzing things that already happened or worrying about what might happen, there's just no memory left to actually process the present moment. Your system freezes up and you get stuck.
This brings us to a really crucial point in section 3. Your mind isn't some standalone PC operating all by itself in a basement somewhere. No, you are a high-performance terminal, and you're hardwired into a vast, intelligent cosmic network.
And the main server of this network? Well, that's the universe itself, the central source of all information and all consciousness. Every single one of us is a terminal connected to this server, with the built-in ability to both send and receive data at all times.
And as you can see here, this is how concepts like the law of attraction actually work. It's not magic, it's just a simple communication protocol. Step 1. You send a query to the server, which is basically a wish or an intention. Step 2. The server processes your request. And step 3, you receive a response, which often shows up as a synchronicity, a gut feeling, or a new opportunity.
So what's the biggest thing that stops us from getting a clear response? Well, in tech terms, we can call it packet loss. When you send out a request, but deep down you believe, this is impossible, That doubt corrupts the data packet. Your request gets garbled and lost on the way, never even making it to the server. Your belief is your signal strength.
And now, in our final section, we get to the really exciting part. We've checked our specs, we've run maintenance, and we've connected to the server. Now it's time to initiate a full system upgrade and shift into a much higher mode of operation.
You see, our lives basically run in one of two modes. There's normal mode, the ego OS, which is all about anxiety, competition, and trying to control everything. It's like a laptop that's disconnected from the internet, trying to do everything with its own limited local memory. But then there's higher mode, the soul OS. This is where you're constantly connected to the main server. You experience flow, synchronicity, and ease. You stop working so hard and you start working smart because you're leveraging the infinite processing power of the universe.
And you want to know the best part? This isn't some complicated new software you have to go out and buy or download. Higher mode is already built right into your system. It's a feature that's been there the whole time. You don't need to install it, you just need to learn how to activate it.
So what's the ultimate command to switch on this mode? It's a 3-key combination, kind of like a Control+Alt+Delete for your life. First, you hit accept, acknowledge what's happening right now without fighting it. Second, release. Let go of your need to control everything and just delete all that unnecessary mental baggage. And third, trust. Fully rely on the processing power of the main server to handle the rest.
The moment you execute those 3 commands, accept, release, and trust, your entire system instantly optimizes. Life just feels lighter, clearer, and a whole lot faster. So the only question left is the one you see right here. You are the system administrator. You have the access, you have the authority, and now you have the manual. So which command will you execute today?